Let's see how that works. Oh, we need something to write. What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? Any coming in? You know how I do. Give me a sound check, mic check, 1, 2. It's your partner, the Urban Guru. I see Sean Harris. What's happening? I'm good on the sound, Sean. I'm good. A couple people. Anybody? King 87. What up? We good on sound? All clear? Cool. I can take these headphones off then. All right. That's what it is. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Peace, peace, peace. What's going on? Oh, shoot, Daisy. Can't say stuff like that. That make me blush, man. Poor thing. I feel like I'm possibly been neglected all my life. And I appreciate you. Kari, what up? What up? Jupiter Storm. The red eye on Jupiter. Ooh, one day I may go in the bag. Really go in the bag when we get into that astro gangster vibe and show you how we actually made Jupiter act up a little bit, man. King Simon. What they say, Wagwan, brethren. What up? What up, Ernest? What's good? What's good? Man, y'all coming in. I think I'm gonna start doing lives on Friday night, man. Go get me something to drink or something. What we got going on, man? Okay. Yeah. All right. So what's today's topic, man? What up, Randy? I got your emails, man. I'm gonna definitely get with you, man. It's just been a little busy. The end of the month gets extremely busy for me. All right. So what's today's topic we got up here, man? Pisces full moon is coming up on Sunday, the day that I'm doing my webinar. I didn't even know that. For real, man. You would think I would know that, but sometimes I don't know. Pisces full moon, absolutely my favorite moon out of them all. Michael Jackson was born with a Pisces moon. That's not why it's my favorite. Let's look at this. The moon is naturally at home when she is in Cancer. So the moon governs what we call physical bodies of water on the earth. Oceans, high tides, low tides. This is known as a fact. And then the human being is said to be majority water. So the question is, if you look at all of the water on the earth in comparison to the tiny human being who is said to be majority liquid anyway, if the waters on the earth are affected or have a relationship, shall we say, with the moon, does the human being have a relationship with the moon? Now, my good friend, Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson, will say and has said, it's interesting, on Sway in the Morning one year, he said, you know, if human beings have a sexual relationship and they conceive, get pregnant on a full moon, 10 months later from conception to delivery, the moon will be in the same phase. But then in the very next breath, astrology it ain't real. And so astrology for us is the science that correlates planetary bodies with human behaviors. So what he tried to do to discredit the science was take astrology and put it in the box of, well, if you ask 10 people in a room, how many, and you read the horoscope and say, today is going to be a lucky day. Raise your hand if you feel like today is going to be a lucky day. And everybody raised their hand, but they different signs. And I read the horoscope for Pisces and everybody's not a Pisces. That shows you right there that's not sign. Man, that's some bullshit. First of all, you have to absolutely make it a point to study human behavior as it corresponds with planetary phenomenon. If you have never embarked on the journey to specifically study that, then you cannot invalidate it. So let me be clear with that, okay? But as he so eloquently said and proved, when human beings come together and they have you conceive, if you go full term, mommy and the couple, if you go full term, the moon is going to be in the exact same phase. Well, God damn it, that's a cosmic mirror. That's a phenomenon. I'm with that. So then I find it interesting that the ancients noted, and I love Greek mythology because they styled the planetary cosmic bodies as personalities to make it more personable so you can understand it, right? It gives it a little bit more flair and drama. That's me. I like it. And so the moon is Diana. Now, I went out on a personal study myself and I started studying women's menstrual cycles. Here's a great case study for yourself. This is how I measure the menstrual cycles, because we're talking about the Pisces full moon, which is water, blood, water, liquid, all of it's relative, okay? And so the day that the menstrual cycle comes on, that's the date that I note. So I'm just marking day to day. From this day, it came on August the 24th. Note the moon's position in the heavens. And then when it come on again next month in September, then note its position in the heavens again. How many days pass from this point to this point? And the only thing you're going to need is really 3 entry dates, because the second 2 should give you a pattern, a rhythm of what the cycle is. So if the first point to the second point from August to September is 28 days pass, and then from September to October, 28 days pass. See, you got 2 cycles. God damn it. Now you just may be seeing something. So then you may notice it may fluctuate a little bit, but you may start to develop some type of average. 27, 28, 28, 29. I know a sister who was on a cycle for 24, about every 24 days it was coming. Different, but I find that interesting. I got a book on the shelf right now dealing with the Hermetic science that was talking about the 24-day cycle is masculine, 28 is feminine, 33 is intellectual. And I just found it very interesting that she fell on the 24 cycle, which has been something that has been noted. All right. So a little homework assignment for those of you who want to study this phenomenon and whatnot. So in one of my case studies, I had one person, she would come on when the moon was at 17 degrees Virgo, like clockwork. So then what I was doing, once I see the pattern, I'm able to say next month, you're going to come on this day. And then bingo, it comes on that day. All right. Now, man, I looked at that comment. King Simon said, that's dangerous, man. God damn, that's dangerous, man. If you know, for that person to live that kind of lifestyle, to do that, it's crazy to me. I like to be naive and shit. Like, please just really believe wholeheartedly in what you believe in, and out of, for lack of a better word, your ignorance. That's just, that's just what you believe in, not to purposely deceive. I just love to be naive, man. Let me be naive. So, where I'm at. So you can measure these particular cycles, right? and you should absolutely look at it, because then you start to get some type of cosmic rhythm to see if one of those universal laws indeed is true, which is rhythm. Rhythm is very important. Okay. So the moon corresponds to the breast and stomach when we're dealing with the zodiacal aspect. All right. Yeah. I did 3 videos today, man. Yeah. I'm working. So the moon is your stomach, it's your breast. It is also your lymphatic system, the lymph, the liquid. And the Tao teaches that this system, which is a part of the immune system, is one of the first systems to get compromised because, so you got a cranial pump, you got a heart pump, but the lymph, especially when you go down to your feet, the energy, the liquid coming back up via the veins, because veins carries blood back up to the heart. Arteries carry bloods away, A4 away, veins bring it too. So it's fighting gravity, and there's no pump in your feet, right? There's no pump. So what happened with people who are diabetic, what happens? The feet and the legs go bye-bye because that's the furthest thing away from the heart and the first thing to get clogged up, right? And there's no pump down there. And so the lymphatic system is very important because it's bringing the liquids back up. And this is where, of course, clean eating, healthy lifestyle, and mental attention and intention, you putting your attention on it and your intent of helping circulate that energy, right? Down, up, down, up. All right. Very important. All right. So let's talk about a little bit about some constellation aspect. All right. Full moon in Pisces, secret enemies, perhaps. The 12th house Pisces Neptunian frequency could definitely, because the full moon is full, so it's shining light, or it's reflecting light, shall we say. This could be an excellent month, an excellent time where you could be exposed to secret enemies. Hold on. This is the prime minister, man. We on live, man. Say what up.
What up? What's happening?
Yeah. What's going on, man?
Hey, what you on?
YouTube.
YouTube?
Yeah. That's my place, man.
Hey, peace to the YouTube family. What's good? Hey, but no, on some business note, but that package came, bro. What you know, that unexpected thing, you know, like that program in the Matrix thing, what I called for that unexpected package came today.
Oh, yeah, it's all good. I put that out in the video. You mean that unexpected check?
Yeah, that unexpected check showed up, so I wanted to call and let you know.
I appreciate it, man. That's what it is. All right. Yo.
Look, I want the people to know this shit ain't scripted.
That's right. Oh, no, that's straight freestyle. I didn't know you was calling, you know.
That's right.
Yeah.
Straight freestyle. I just checked the PO box. Call my man and let him know, man, that package showed up. But no, it's all good. All right, yo.
All right. Peace. Yeah. So that's funny. I just put that video out on programming the Matrix, and that last slide was we got a check coming that came from the title company from a property that I closed on. Probably about 5 months ago. Yeah, about 5 months ago. So we take it. So anyway, so Pisces full moon, very psychic, very intuitive. This is the feet dealing with the body. This is psychic energy, clairvoyant energy. Pisces is the seal of the will. This is the 12th grade right here. You're about to get ready to graduate. You're about to go off to the university, right? Because when we finish the 12th grade and we go to college, we start looking for universes to go to. The 12th grade, the 12 grades within school are your 12 zodiac signs, okay? So you're about to get ready to go off to the university. But of course, in this cosmic wheel, we about to start over again, because next month we'll be talking about the full moon in Aries, which is point number 1. And then you'll be constantly just following the wheel 1 through 12, 1 through 12, always staying, I guess, to a degree stuck within the wheel. But it's time for us to graduate and become Christ, ascend outside of the wheel, and understand that you are God projecting this reality into manifestation, visualization in a sense. All right. So Pisces, psychic ability, secret enemies could be exposed. People who disagree with you at this time. This is very interesting. This is very interesting, but particularly since we're scattered light, particularly when this happens in your 12th house. Now, oh my God, what the hell is this nigga talking about? A 12th house, this stuff is totally foreign. No problem. You have to understand that if you did a Google image search right now, 12 houses in astrology, it's going to look like a circle with, 12 slices of pizza, I like to call it. What that's on paper, y'all. What that's really talking about is if you look to what appears to be over your head and draw a 360-degree circle, the eastern portion of the sky and all these portions of the sky can be divided up evenly into 12 regions of space. A house is a region of space. When we say the 12th house, this is naturally the region of space that deals with Pisces. What is that region of space? It is the eastern portion of the sky, and you turn, if you take a protractor, 30 degrees to your right, face the east, and turn 30 degrees to your right. That will start to give you what area space is the 12th house. It is the eastern portion of the sky, slightly going towards the south. Okay. So when the sun first come up in the morning and you visually see it, that's technically the 12th house. And as the sun starts to progress slowly but surely a little bit more to your right, that is the 12th house, what we call the first 30 degrees, what could be about the first 2 hours of sunrise. Okay. All righty. So full moons are known as the time to start to cleanse, to push out. The moon is full. I see two things here. The moon is full because immediately after the full moon, especially the next day, it's no longer full. And guess what? The right side of the moon starts to diminish and become smaller. And you only start to see a little bit of the left side of the moon. And then you're going to get to a half a moon where you completely are not going to be able to see the right side of the moon, and you just see the left half of the moon. This is the cosmic illusion. Pisces is illusion too. Don't get it twisted. Pisces is the sign of illusion. So the full moon here could be on one scale, secret enemies, drugs, alcohol. Whoa, hold on. I just thought about it. See, I didn't know it was the Pisces full moon. The Big Boy show, the TV video I just did on Big Boy TV. Shout out to my man out west in hip hop, Big Boy TV, right? He just got in an accident and Neptune is opposite his sun directly to the degree. I just posted that video right here. And he's a Virgo. Neptune is in Pisces right now in the sky as we speak. The full moon on Sunday is going to be in Pisces, conjoined with Neptune. See, both of these, what is Neptune? Poseidon in the mythology. Google image Neptune statue, Washington, D.C. at the Library of Congress out front. They got a statue of Poseidon, the King Neptune. Go to Virginia Beach. They got a statue of Neptune, Poseidon, right there on the boardwalk, right there as you get to the ocean. These are cosmic principles, okay? The highest aspect of it is all about your intuition, your ability to perceive something before it happens. That's the height of this 12th house energy. It's so dope to me. I call it transcendental consciousness, because you have the ability to transcend regular physical things, perceive information about your reality before it happens, and it happens. Where does that come from? This is the frequency where you really can get in tune with your absolute highest self that transcends space and time. Because if I'm going to receive, for example, I literally, and I told my people this, I literally had a certain dream about someone. Today, this was about 3 days ago, 4 days ago. Today, that person popped up. The dream was just telling me they was coming. See what I'm saying? Where is that information coming from? Because in quote unquote our space-time continuum, the person didn't manifest yet, nor did the day manifest yet. But yet I had a foreknowing that the person was coming. Okay. So this is your ability to perceive about this reality before this quote unquote reality appears or happens. Okay. Totally psychic. I like to show people uh famous people who I believe represent these expressions the best. Pisces, in my opinion, the best one is by far Erykah Badu. Abby, for sure, without a shadow of a doubt. Badu can have you thinking that she got dreadlocks and could be wearing a wig for 10 years. She's that creative and that mystical. Very artistic is Pisces as well. Okay? Very magnetic. You got to be careful with this energy. If you have anything born in Pisces, or you have a lot of water in your chart, planets born in water signs, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces, water is magnetic. It can draw in energy. So you are sensitive. That's the key word for water energy. You're sensitive to the environment, because if the vibes aren't right, you can find yourself in the bad mood. You can find yourself you're just mirroring the energy of the environment, because water absorbs. So people who are born with planets and water signs have the ability to absorb energy. Right? We just watching nature. That's all we're doing. Okay. So this is a time to push out. What are the things that, because Pisces confusion, what are the things that you're confused about? Who are the people that you're confused about? Who's lying to you? Who's deceiving you? Who do you feel like is a secret enemy? It wouldn't be a secret if you knew them, but maybe they are. Because the sun is in Virgo, and the moon's in Pisces, reflecting the light in Virgo, and you on the earth is in between this phenomenon. So sometimes one of the best times to test this thing is, let me start doing me and see who objects, see who disagree with me. Let me go hard on a promotional campaign or something. Let me say something. And let me see. Let me put some little bait out there. Let me put a MAGA hat on and see what happens. Whatever, right? So this is a time to really clean house and really get in tune with your higher self, meaning, i.e., because Pisces is escapism. It wants to literally leave and climb the mountaintop and go off into a silent retreat. It's escapism. So this is really a moment of silence. But you can also, because Pisces represents imagination, then you can also really, that's what you're supposed to do, take the things in your imagination and bounce them off the moon. Since this is water, and water deals with earth, right? Virgo, the sun's in Virgo right now. Virgo's an earth sign. You on earth. Water nourishes the earth. Maybe the things that you want to grow and become full, complete, maybe you should bury them in the earth. And maybe you should pour water on top of them like you do a plant and a seed. Or maybe you go buy a plant and this plant is a real life plant, which is very intelligent. And you start to communicate with this plant that this is my money tree. And I'll nurture this, because they got plants called money trees, right? Money plants. You can do that, or bamboo, or whatever the case may be. See, in this realm here, you get to use your imagination, and there's no wrong way to do that. It just isn't. This is why Aleister Crowley said, do what thy wilt. Let love, feeling, emotion, which is thoughts that produce feeling, let love be the law. So love what you think, do what you want to do. This is the kingdom, earth, Malkuth, the earth. Do what you want to do, because everything goes when it comes to hoes. Everything goes here. I mean, really look, everything goes. Things fly, things eat dookie. Like dookie nourishes the green. You eat the green. The meat eats the green. You eat the meat. You breathe the air. The volcano comes up. Like everything goes. The male seahorse carries the baby. Like this nigga carries a baby. He don't get pregnant. He carries the male seahorse carries the baby. The black widow kills the male spider, and this nigga know he gonna die after he get him some, but he got to go through it and get some anyway, and she eats him. Everything goes inside of this reality. It's just a matter of you understanding and being in unison with your goal. So it's perfect time to cleanse and a perfect time to make or cast the things that you have in your imagination to come to fulfillment. And then if you're doing this, I don't do per se, I don't play with lunar months because you'll go crazy. Remember, lunar is lunatic. And this is what I mean by this. I don't go chasing this shit. I'm God. Meaning certain ones I play with because I'm just certain. I got favoritism. But I'm not about to sit here and chase the full moon this month, the full moon this month, the full moon this month, 12 full moons. And then I got to chase another 12, technically 13 new moons. If I have to go, if it's 12 full, then it's going to be 13 new within a year. But anyway, I'm not about to chase this 12 and 12, these cycles all the time. I'm not doing that because then you're going to find yourself losing your mind. Well, I got to put this here because it can't manifest this, and then I got to do this here. Listen, you go crazy, let alone trying to divide this shit up in phases. I want to be very clear. 12 full moons, 12 new moons, and then you about to play the phase game too. Oh, the moon is in this quarter, and then we're going to do this. Oh, oops, switch it up. 7 days later, now we got to do this. Oh, 7 days later, we got to do this. Man, you about to go crazy is what you about to do. And you wonder why you can't manifest shit. Because you keep switching. The moon, I'm going to tell you what the moon is used for, man. And man, I'm about to start talking too much when I get this up. The moon ain't built. That ain't what the moon is for, man. I'm going to tell you like this. Now I'm going to give you a hint because this is something that goes into those who come through the mentoring program and successfully get to a certain point within it. The moon is a space-time accelerator. What do you mean by that? Well, every year in a couple of weeks, 9/11, for example, people wait a whole year to go to the memorial to offer negative emotion because it's sad. Let's do a happy day. Every year you wait till your birthday it's my birthday. I'm gonna have a birthday party. I'm gonna put $1 on my shirt and hey, it's my birthday. Every year you wait for a certain point to, celebrate this. So what is a year? A year is one day out of 365 days on a calendar, right? You're on this circle going around the sun, and 365 days need to be all around this circle. You're celebrating just 1 point on the circle. That's it. So I may call this July 4th when the earth is right here. And then obviously January is going to be when we on this side. So what you celebrate in the year means the earth, let's really pay attention to this. Okay? Really pay attention to this. The Earth, right here, on July 4th, sees the sun in front of the Cancer constellation right here on July the 4th. That takes you 365 days on average for you to see the sun right there. And you call it an anniversary, a celebration. The moon goes there once every month. Yes, she does. So the moon, we know, is the fastest moving body. She goes through, it takes the sun, what appears, 30 days to go through a sign. The moon takes 2.5 days tops to go through a sign. So the moon is here every month, man. She is the vehicle in which we can accelerate our consciousness. As it pertains to, here's another alley-oop. You got to really be paying attention to me when I'm talking like this. As it pertains to you in cosmic memory, because space knows who you are. So the moon is supposed to be used as an accelerator, man. All right. That is the quantum eraser. There's something called the quantum eraser that they studying, but I'm gonna give you the moon is the cosmic eraser. Okay. So what do you do here, man? You do whatever you want to do. What's your ritual, man? Whatever you want to do. You just make the theme. Okay, what is Pisces? You know what I'm saying? Okay, well, it's music, it's my inspiration, it's things that's in my imagination. What are you imagining? Well, I'm imagining XYZ. Okay, we'll see that strengthening at this particular time. All ceremony does is heighten your awareness. The metal, the medallion, the altar is not God in of itself, but it is, meaning it's there to help you fine-tune your concentration, to bring your concentration to a certain level of awareness. So when we go through the Western mystery schools of initiation and you blindfolded and it's dark and there's candles lit and we're bringing you through, man, that's the heighten your damn senses need to be heightened. It's called setting the mood. Try it tonight or on the full moon. Light a candle, light an incense. It's called setting the vibe, man. All right. Straight up. Yeah, Levon, that was that shit. Cosmic accelerators pertain to cosmic memory. Yes, absolutely. Space is intelligent. I may be on 9/11. I'm gonna show it again, but you can Google, fact check me. If I'm lying, I'm flying, and we flying because we on Earth. 9/11 is coming. Virgo season. 9/11 happened in 2015. On 9/11, a crane fell in Mecca and killed 111 people on 9/11. And I am telling you, it took 14 years of negative emotion of people in New York City crying on the Twin Tower Memorial, a place that they project two light beams as if the buildings are still there and light is intelligent. They're projecting two light beams into the ether. And the light beam itself that they're projecting to the ether is carrying negative emotion. So that's being broadcast to what we call the quantum field. New York is on the East Coast. This energy is on water, which is magnetic. Every year they do this grand ritual. And on 9/11, 14 years later, when the planet Saturn, who represents materialization, if I'm lying, look it up. Crystallization, form, structure. When the planet Saturn was in its opposite sign of where 9/11 happened, where it was able to see itself. Okay? It's a wall clock. If 9/11 in our Earth time reality happened at 12 o'clock and Saturn was at 12, 14 years later, Saturn's going to be at 6 o'clock. It get to see itself now. It get to see itself for the first time. It is in position to look back at the past of what happened, of where it was when it was in 9/11. It's the first time that Saturn gets to see itself within a straight angle and look itself in the cosmic mirror of reality, the planet of crystallization. And on 9/11, when it looked at itself, a crane fell from a windstorm, which is Spirit. Spirit Airlines. Stop playing with me, man. This is all the truth of Spirit is always going to permeate through your culture, called businesses, ideas, music, names, etc. Okay? So on 9/11, the crane mysteriously fell from a windstorm, fell over, and killed 111 people on 9/11. And when you look into crane accidents, the person or the city that had the record before these 111 people died in Mecca at the mosque was who? New York, the same place that is crying every month on 9/11. It just took 14 years to materialize. That's all. And who do they blame when they're at the 9/11 memorial? What image, what group of people is in their mind that created this horrible event for them? The same people that was praying at the masjid when that crane fell and smacked them. So they transferred the record of deadliest crane accidents over to the people who is lodged in a subconscious mind and conscious mind who created the horrible act of 9/11, 2001 on them. You smacked them back and hit them with a crane attack. Ooh, y'all put out, hey, they put out that's that karate kung fu shit, the crane. That's what you did. You put out an emotional crane on these niggas and don't even know it. Real, I'm telling you, man, that's how this shit works. Humanity will catch up, though. It'll catch up. So the Pisces full moon, man, use your imagination in a good way. Because the law of cause and effect is what you put out comes back. All right. So use your imagination in a good way on this Pisces full moon. And if you want to make it a little bit more personal, right? This is where you know, okay, what time was I born? Right? So for me, Pisces is my career, the 12th house, right? I'm sorry, the 10th house, career. The career line in the chart is known as the MC. That's the crown. That's the top of the chart. So I'm born at 1 something in the afternoon, right? So what happens at 1 something in the afternoon, and I'm an Aquarius, then Aquarius is right there in the southern portion of the sky. So what's a little bit to the left of Aquarius? Pisces. So then Pisces is right there in the southern portion of the sky. So for me, Pisces at the time of my birth was in the highest position in the sky, the crown, known as the zenith, known as the midhaven, also known as MC. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Okay, the midhaven shows you your career line. Mine is Pisces, spiritual work, or it could be music, could be film, because Pisces is film as well. Could be dealing with something with the imagination, perhaps. I don't know. I roll with the imagination guru. Coincidence, right? Spirituality. Okay. So what do? I tell people about spiritual, which is invisible, scientific, quantum, in a sense, right? Principles at work. So for me, then my full moon focus is on something dealing with career, right? It's dealing with career. For you, that may be in the Pisces, may be in the western portion of the sky. That's relationships. So then it may be good for you definitely to do something dealing with relationships. Have a relationship goal, What do you want to come full? What do you want to complete as it pertains to relationships? So the house that it's in can dictate, which is the area of space in the sky. The house that it's in can dictate what your area of focus should be on. Yes. So she's saying, look, great. Look at Reese the Great. Pisces energy is in the third house, no planets. Right? Cool. Third house, communication, brothers and sisters. Right? Travel, perhaps. But you can make it, I'm going to take me a little short trip. Third house is considered short trips, not out the country, really domestic. I'm going to take me a little retreat and travel somewhere. Or I'm going to, reach out to my brothers and sisters and just say, hey, what up? Or I got something to say and been wanting to say something. I wanted to start writing a book. I'm going to start putting my intention towards communication and writing. You see? So the house for you is different. It's not the same for everybody because it's predicated upon your time of birth. The universal energy is full moon, imagination, Pisces. Yeah. But what area of your life is it streamlined in so you can put that focus right there? For me, it's career. If you got it in the 11th house, this is an excellent time to do something possibly with friends. The full moon can be a cutting off because it's full. So is it something that you want to bring or something that you kind of want to shed as it deals with friends? Because remember, this full moon in Pisces can definitely denote the revealing of secret enemies. Jealousy, poison as well. Pisces is poison. Pisces is Jim Jones. Let's go down south below the equator and everybody take a cyanide pill. We out of here. That's some Piscean ass shit. That kind of stuff right there. All right. Slip you an X pill, Bill Cosby you. No offense. No offense, Cosby. I don't know if that's true, but you get my point. All right. So for sure, man, this is absolutely the gateway, the lunar portal to get into your subconscious mind. Try to meditate, man. I got to super consciousness through meditation. And I'm not nowhere near a good meditator. I probably suck. I definitely suck compared to people who meditate, right? However, though, as I sit in meditation, I've had some phenomenal experiences as it pertains to psychic phenomenon, and coming out of them, the next conversations I will have will mirror what I just saw and whatnot. So the meditation, again, I'm not me personally. See, I want to be clear, and I said it before, imagination is masculine. You have to constantly conjure up an image, and you're constantly reinforcing that image that you see. Are you going through, you're doing something. I'm not doing that. I'm sitting still and I'm just really kind of trying to concentrate on sound. It's a divine sound that you can hear. Sufism, they call it hu, right? You can hear this divine sound. I would show a way with certain technique you got to go through to wake it up so you can hear it. But that's in my cosmic light body. All right. So you want to concentrate on this sound. You get to these sacred spots and sit still enough, you can hear it. You ain't even got to be in the sacred spot. You can just hear it. But these certain spots like Mount Shasta, that shit hums. You can hear it. So I'm following really a sound within meditation to allow my mind to expand. When I try to empty it and allow what naturally comes up, and I'm not concentrating on something per se, then more oxygen is feeding the brain cells, and then the expansion of consciousness is happening. Then you're able to perceive what's going to happen in the future. Okay, that's one way. All right. So y'all got any questions over here? Pluto and my moon got beef. Oh man, that's treacherous, man. Pluto and the moon, man. Hey man, Pluto and the moon combinations is he was a pimp in the past life or something. Pluto is I'll strangle you, right? I'll suffocate you. I can play power games with you. The moon is feminine, of course, right? And of course, this can deal with your own emotion. It could be a power struggle with your mother because the moon is mommy, right? or it could just be power struggles with women in a sense. Pluto is sexual secrets and lies. You could do it or they could do it and whatnot. Usually this is definitely going to bring about a conflict with feminine energy in your life that is going to help you transform. The conflict is necessary for you to go through the transformation of metamorphosis. You have to understand why. I'm always looking for divine insight, divine wisdom, divine understanding, especially understanding. What I mean by divine is I want to understand why I had the experience. Because if I believe in God, and Lord knows I do, right? Then what's okay with him was authored and ordained for me for a reason. The quicker that I can get to divine understanding, I can shed the illusion of duality, or that was messed up, that was bad. And then I'm programming those perceptions inside of my brain, hippocampus, right? And I'm storing that shit as a negative memory. And that is very bad for the soul. This is why the monks get away, because their whole life is dealing with the purification of not having negative imprints. Because when you die, you come back again, and then you have to relive these shits, and it can be dangerous. I always say it, in the Western Hemisphere, it's dangerous because we go through the Detroit Red syndrome before we have the awakening. We need, over here in the West, it's like we need abuse in order for us to understand the deeper aspect of God that we say we believe in. All right. So transformation, work on what needs to be transmuted and whatnot. How do you transmute? Constant the reclassification of memory. It's one way. One of the most easiest and effective ways. Do it all the time. Positron Pass, the Imagination Guru. If you need help in as far as setting up structure on how to reclassify memory. Events. All right. Saturn in Pisces, first house, but my ascendant's in Aqua. Saturn in Pisces could put a damper on that spiritual ability. I always say with Saturn's connected to Pisces in the 12th house, don't you dare mess with drugs, because that's the government. You justice will be served. So don't dare do that kind of stuff. On the high side, you're supposed to learn how to crystallize everything in your imagination. Don't escape and stay in la la land. That's Pisces sometimes. Saturn demands that you build and put structure to things. Wherever Saturn is, we talked about this in one of the lives I did. It was Saturn, that episode. That wherever it is, it demands that you be successful right there. So Saturn and Pisces wants you to become very successful inside of your spiritual endeavors and all things within your imagination. All right. Venus opposite Pluto. I got that. Again, it's another intense situation when it deals with relationships. Venus is relationships. It's going to be some type of intensity that takes place that's going to warrant transformation. So Pluto is sexual secrets. And if you're in that generation, 9 times out of 10, you within 2 generations. Rose, you either with Pluto in Libra or Pluto inside of Scorpio. And that's a 24-year group of people. So if you're within that particular group, then that's likely to come away about some type of relationship, intimate relationship, as it deal with infidelity, or what we call infidelity and whatnot. The high side of it is a very powerful union that doesn't play these power games. I always call Pluto the one. See, Pluto is the type of energy that you smoke out the house is on fire, and you're going to burn it up one by one, and you kind of torture the person before you kill them. You know what I mean? It's that kind of death. It's I'm mad at you. I'm not putting no gas in the car. We ain't been talking, and I know you ain't got no money. You're going to have to call me. You're going to have to say something to me. And now I got you. Bow down. Come, because I got the power. Pluto's power. So now we play these kind of power games. But since it's so subtle and manipulative, sometimes we don't even know that's what we're doing. All right. But yes, Detroit Red was Malcolm X before prison. So my analogy with that is he had to go to prison in order to become enlightened. That's Pisces, confinement, jail. You see what I'm saying? And so then you go through that. And then what's the other side of it? Spirituality, enlightenment, a vision. Malcolm X had a vision while he was in jail. You see? So see that's the perfect duality. Made me do a show on that. See, what is Pisces? The two fish. One is going upstream and the other is going downstream. All signs, when you look at them, they're showing you duality. Aquarius is the two glyphs, two water glyphs. Libra has a glyph at the top and then the sign at the bottom. Slightly different, but it's showing you two things. Gemini for sure is the twins. Aries has two horns on two, horns. Taurus has two horns with the bull, right? When you look at these signs. Cancer is the 6-9, same thing, right? Leo doesn't. All right. Virgo is the M. So you got a branch of the M. Scorpio is an M as well. We did Libra. Sag doesn't. Capricorn, to his degree, is little, you see Capricorn's glyph is like a V. So you got one side and another side. And we did Aquarius and we did Pisces. So Sag, just glyph wise, is interesting. Sag and Leo, glyph wise, don't necessarily carry a mirroring duality like that in a sense. Very interesting for a study. Two fire signs at that. So what we ask, but oftentimes that fish, those two polarities that we dealing with is the devil within yourself. So again, let's look at that. Let's look at that Detroit Red Malcolm X syndrome. Pisces is confinement. That's a fact. Neptune is in Pisces right now. So the Pisces energy is going to be strong right now. The moon here is my favorite placement. I personally think, and I know the moon is exalted over here in Pisces, without a shadow of a doubt. And it's coming at the favorite degree within Pisces. 3 degrees Pisces is a magic degree. Every zodiac sign has a degree that's considered its exalted degree, its special degree. Okay. So that's another conversation, but it does. So just like every team player, every team that you have has a star player that has a number on the team, and that's the only number on that team, right? Whether it's Walter Payton, number 34, Barry Sanders, number 20, whatever, Michael Jordan, number 23, right? Every team has a star player that has a star number. Well, every degree of the zodiac, well, not every degree, every sign of the zodiac has a degree that's a little bit, that has a star player at that degree, okay? So Pisces, that Malcolm X thing, illusion, jail, confusion, drugs. Detroit Red, he's pushing drugs. So he goes to get locked up, confinement, Neptune, Pisces again. Then he has spiritual vision, Pisces again. Then he makes the metamorphosis and becomes Malcolm X. He went through a whole Piscean thing in order for him to get to where later what he become. Okay, that's what I mean by that. All right. So no, I appreciate you, Grand Wisdom, as well. So Neptune and Capricorn in the 12th. Neptune. So you got Neptune and Cap. You over there? Little youngin. Neptune and Cap. I mean, I'm the Neptune and Sag, right? So Neptune and Cap generation. That's a generational thing. Because remember, when you start dealing with like Neptune and you start dealing with shit, for real, starting with Uranus. Uranus is 7 years in the zodiac sign. So that's a 7-year group of people that's born and got the same energy. Neptune could be 14. Pluto could be 24 easy. So these are groups of people. These are generational shifts and whatnot. So the Neptune and Capricorn thing, that's a generational thing. Because we call those the outer planets, also generational planets. And so Neptune and Cap to me seems more or less about that could be big laws and government type of shit. You can start seeing that within this time, lies and whatnot. But Capricorn again is really about success and structure, career orientated things. And Neptune is your ideal, your wild shit of your wildest imagination. This is going to be the absolute best time for you to get out of your head and materializes the things that are in your head, because that's what Saturn and Capricorn energy represents, structure. So then the Piscean Neptune frequency is imagination. Put them together. Oh shit, I really can just. So you know how many people just live in their head and talk about the ideas, the shoulda, woulda, coulda, and then you got people who can actually do it. You're one of those people that can actually do it. All right. And so I thought the moon was it is exalted, Marie. It is. It is. I got my own exaltation. My own exaltations. Good point. It is. It is exalted in Taurus for sure. The moon is exalted in Taurus, right? I just noted that. See, remember when the moon is in water signs, it makes people super psychic. In my years of experience of consulting with people and they have this marker, they are extremely intuitive when the moon is in Pisces. It makes sense. It's the last water sign. So when you're dealing with something called the you can deal with decanates, right? So you take a zodiac sign. Let's just take Pisces, for example. They say that the first 10 degrees of Pisces is ruled by Pisces. The second 10 degrees of Pisces is going to be ruled by the next water sign, which would be Cancer. And then the last 10 degrees of Pisces is going to be ruled by the last water sign in order, which is going to be Scorpio. So the first 10 degrees of any zodiac sign is said to be ruled by that sign itself. So just dealing with elements. And then you have to find, okay, so the first 10 degrees of Aquarius is Aquarius. Then what's the next air sign going in order? Gemini. So then the second 10 degrees is ruled by Gemini. And then the last 10 degrees is ruled by Libra. These are known as decanates. Okay. So my point was like, wait a minute. The moon naturally governs the water. Pisces is the last seal of the wheel. That's it, a water sign. I know from experience and just observation that the moon in Pisces, I give it an exaltation. It's not to take away from Taurus because that's real too. I'm just saying, yo, I know I made that note. Venus and Leo is another. That's a hidden exaltation. It's a new book. It's a new day. This is the Aquarian age. The ambassador of the Aquarian age is telling you what it is. And I'm definitely the ambassador of the Aquarian age. I can prove it. I can prove it. Go to, I got to say this, but go to the album cover, The Fifth Dimension, Aquarius, Let the Sun Shine In. Here's an album cover. Here's a group of people known as the Fifth Dimension, which is telling you they're from another place, a realm of energy. And they're saying that Aquarius is going to be the age when this great light come in. And this is the age we in. They got two zodiac. There's two. When you look at a zodiac wheel in a house, technically one sign is supposed to be on one house. Technically. Because you got 12 houses and 12 signs. But sometimes what happens is two signs can be on, two signs can have a different house. So when you look at that album cover, Aquarius is on the 7th house. I'm sorry, it's on the 8th house and it's on the 9th house. Okay. You got two Aquariuses right there. And one of their houses, the 9th house, starts at 27 degrees 44 minutes on that album cover. And it said, Aquarius, let the sun shine in. So let's just say hypothetically, in the Aquarian age, we are supposed to be looking for an Aquarian. It will only make sense, right? Let's just keep it funky. This ain't got nothing to do with ego, none of that shit. Let's just keep it funky. In the Aquarian age, you are supposed to be looking for Aquarian to tell you this great truth. And there's going to be many different people who are not Aquarians who understand this truth that are going to be responsible for disseminating and teaching this truth as well. Absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the age that we're in. All right. I'm just saying I'm the cosmic representation of the age. And this is why I do what I do and do it successfully. So when you look at that album cover that precedes me in the 60s, when that came out, 27 degrees Aquarius is exactly my sun. And the album cover, it says, Aquarius, let the sun shine in. I am Aquarian at 27 degrees. I was prophesied about. I'm not making this shit up. But so are you to a certain degree. Everybody has their own role and have to do what they do. You know what I mean? And so, you know, I'm just saying. So anyway, enough of that. All right. Enough of that stuff. All right. So again, man, have fun, man. Have fun on the full moon on Sunday, but y'all gonna be with me on Sunday. Anyway. So you're gonna come on into that good old webinar program in the Matrix. Y'all should have seen that video. Y'all seen that video I put up that was talking about how those bills got mysteriously paid. Did y'all see that? Did somebody here, please tell me you seen that in the chat. Let me know you seen that shit, right? Did y'all seen that? Brand, you beautiful, you Aquarian. That's what's up. Come on, I rocks with you. If you're on the Aquarian side, I rock with you all. But the this thing, I may do a joint called Cosmic Game Banging and shit, because there's sides and sets inside this whole thing, and it's all based upon your perception, based on where you live. You know what I'm saying? So y'all, it's a video that went up. This your first, man. You got to sign up ASAP, because what I do with my things, with my webinars, is I take them down like 15 minutes, 10 minutes before, where I put them out of stock. And then I always put a note on it, right, on my page. I'd be like, are you? I'll tell you, when, if you come in like after, clearly, because I'm gonna make it out of stock like 10 minutes before, right, before showtime. So if we're going on at 2 o'clock, which we are 2 o'clock Eastern, then at 1:50 the product is going to be out of stock. Listen, I can't be sitting up there trying to send you an email to get in here and all this stuff when I'm about to go live in 10 minutes on a webinar, right? So I'll put out of stock, and then I will put one note. I'll erase all the description of the the webinar, and it would be one thing in red, and it'd be big. Stop procrastinating, because you've been knew it was here. So enroll ASAP. That way you'll be in the system when the email go out, and you'll be ready to rock and roll. All right. So but y'all seen the video, right? The video was called it was a question. Can you program, what was it? Reality. Can you program reality? It was just a quick video I just put up a couple hours, about maybe a few hours ago. And within that, I'm showing you how my bill got paid, and it said I didn't pay nothing. It literally said that. It was like 0 paid. How much you owe? Nothing. And it was like, how do I owe nothing? And you say I didn't pay you nothing, and the line above that says I owe you. That's what I mean by programming the matrix. And so that's vibration, that's energy. That's you. Remember Dick Gregory, rest his soul, used to always tell the story that he was on some other shit, and basically the election machine spit out, and he was the president of the United States for a minute. He always said that shit, right? And you get into that shit, that you can get to that point where this shit starts to go in your favor, and you can't explain it. You can't explain it. Words don't explain it, man. So we can program it. So I'm going to show you actual case studies. So in that video, I just showed some quick shit from our experience, man. Is it true? This may be a little far out here. This is about to be some Aquarian shit right here. Is it true that the Dogon say that you are from Sirius? And can you communicate to that bright star via your thoughts, collectively, individually? And will you receive some type of communication back? Is it possible? Is it possible? Is the ancient record true? I'm not afraid to test it. You see what I'm saying? So is it true? The ancient record says that. I'm going to prove that that's absolutely true, and it can be done in what it looks like. So you got to remember, if this quantum field is real, if God is real, and if God ain't coming out the sky and making this grand announcement, hey, everybody, I'm God, I'm here, everybody can rejoice, and you see this big ass giant, right? If you're not seeing that, then if you're receiving any type of communications from God, then guess what? It's going to come through the agency of somebody else that's delivering the message. Yes. And that means it's going to be an event. And that also means that it's going to be some type of sign. We have to learn how to read signs. And that's what I'm going to get into in this webinar, showing you how to program the matrix, because we done it. Programming, constantly putting this particular thought and thing out there, then doing work, ceremonial work. And so I asked a question in the video, even when it comes to this black and white thing. You know what I'm saying? You can you know, when we go to Stone Mountain in Georgia, why every time we leave Stone Mountain, all of a sudden there's a petition that surfaced. I give you the data. You can fact check me right now. I'm gonna show you in the webinar. Spring equinox, March 21st, 22nd, 23rd, that weekend, 2011, we on Stone Mountain. I got the pictures to prove it. We on Stone Mountain. April the 9th, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe a little somewhere in April. April 9th was the earthquake in Lincolnton, Georgia. Not too far from Stone Mountain. That was a response off the work we were doing. But because Lincolnton is Lincoln, Abe Lincoln. When you think of Lincoln, you think of Abe Lincoln. And so it got to give you the sign. Stone Mountain is absolutely the birthplace of the KKK. Google image right now, KKK Stone Mountain, and watch you see an old ass flyer from the 1800s talking about they're going to do their grand initiation ceremony on top of Stone Mountain. So Stone Mountain literally has 3 people engraved on the side of the mountain. Jefferson Davis, the president of the Confederacy, Stonewall Jackson, which was a war general, and General Lee, which was the major war general for the Confederate South. These 3 people are on their horse on the side of Stone Mountain. April of 2011, less than a month after we left, a man all of a sudden gets an idea. This is auto-suggestion. This is inception. So y'all, people crack me up. They like the Matrix and shit and love Inception and shit, and it be so deep, but we don't practice this shit. We practice this thing. The priesthood, myself, Minister Jew, we live this shit. And people who rock with us in our membership, we live it. And so we put that idea in this person's head who responded a month later. And all of a sudden, Google this. April 2013, Stone Mountain images removed. And you're going to see that they ran a story in April that a petition surfaced to remove it. Then July of 2015, went back to Stone Mountain on 7/11 and Google this. On 7/11 of 15, it's a fact. We already doing the promo. I got the flyer that I'm gonna show you in the webinar. On the flyer, I got Stone Mountain in red, and I got a target on the KKK because I know that the KKK originated or did a grand ritual on Stone Mountain. When you start fucking with mountains and stone, you better understand something about Stone Mountain. Stone Mountain is like the fucking what's that shit in Transformers? The all spark that fell to the earth. That shit is weird. Like nothing else around that shit is like that. Like why is that right there? Right? So that's some special shit. So follow me on this. So they engraved a Confederate shit right there, and they fly the Confederate flag at the flag post right there too in Georgia, because Georgia is the 5th state that went Confederates. I like doing this lineup. It keeps me fresh. And so they start in 5, like in basketball. South Carolina was the point guard. At the number 2 guard was Mississippi. At the small forward, number 3 is Florida. At the power forward, number 4 was Alabama. And at the 5th, at center, was Georgia. 6 was Louisiana. 7 was Texas. All right. That's actually your first 7 that joined in on this Confederacy and seceded from the Union because they was like, fuck you niggas, I'm going to keep you slaves. Just got to keep it 100. All right. And so Stone Mountain is they shit. That's their baby. That's the Confederates' baby right there. We go back 7/11, 2015. All of a sudden, the Confederate flag came up missing. Google that shit. Confederate flag missing 2015. You can put it in July 2015. You're going to see it. Spirit already knew we was coming. And once again, we created what I like to call an Agent Smith, a walk-in in the Matrix to carry out what it was that we were mentally thinking. So the flag came down as a sign that the priesthood had arrived. I'm just giving y'all this shit, man. This real story. This is why me and Jew, like, if you know us from the old school, you know what's up. But if you're new to us, you feel a little flare to us, just a little aura about us to let you know, like, yo, man, we ain't worried about that shit. We ain't worried about nothing. Because if it ever come down the pipeline, man, please. What Bobby Hemmings say, fuck this whole place up. Oh, and goddamn it, the goddamn ship's gonna come. Hey, man, it'd be mayhem. You don't want to go there. It's a new day. So we decided to turn another way. Prosperity. You're in the longest bull market. I was going to do a show on that. You're in the longest bull market ever. Ever. Bull market meaning an expansive economy. You shouldn't be broke right now. You better switch your mindset up. All right. So anyway, 2015 comes, and what happens? Look into this. July 2015, around the 13th, 14th. I think it was the 13th, about the 13th, 14th of July, after we finished with Stone Mountain, the NAACP raises a petition that they want to remove those emblems off of those people off of Stone Mountain. We go there twice, and I'm gonna show you the world. I'm gonna show you how it was cloudy there, and it was full of clouds, and we made the clouds disappear by doing what's known as a certain banishing rite to make the clouds disappear. Come on, man. You can't say your great grandmama was Native American and Cherokee and Blackfoot and all this shit and do Indian rain dances and not understand that these elements correspond to you. Come on, man. Stop being spooky. I ain't saying nothing scary. You're going to have to learn how to tap in this shit. You watch X-Men and all this other shit with superpowers and understand that you're a superhero. I feel like I have some conservative newbies watching me, so I have to give them that kind of disclaimer to put them on point, right? And so I'm just telling you this is real. Now, here's what the spirit gave back through hip hop, because this is hip hop astrology. This is how God moves. And I said before, when it comes to Stone Mountain, is it a fact that Stone Mountain is the home of the KKK? Yes, we can prove it. I just did. Did Tupac, your favorite rapper revolutionary nigga, he may not have the best bars, but he's always in your top 5, though, of all time for sure. It's because you love, I say it all the time, you love the fact that he had Mars and Aquarius. You love Tupac because he spoke out against the status quo of society. That's why you loved him. And then, of course, you loved him for bangers, Brenda Got a Baby and Dear Mama. You loved him for things like that. But you loved him because he was outspoken about the injustices within America. That's why you really love him. You got Mars and Aquarius. That fighting spirit, Mars show you how you fight. That fighting spirit, man, we sent him from the Aquarian age as an ambassador of the light carrying the Martian ray. So where did we put his memorial? Stone Mountain. Not Atlanta. Not Decatur. Not Brooklyn. Not Baltimore. Spirit had his memorial put in Stone Mountain, home of the KKK. Did he not shoot 2 white off-duty police officers? And here's the irony of it. The case got dropped. They didn't say, oh, this nigga shot white officers, we're going to kill him. They didn't do that. They didn't imprison him for shooting him. They was out of pocket and he shot at him and got off. The case got dropped. Not guilty, dropped. So you better understand. That's why all that conspiracy shit, I ain't trying to hear that shit, man. Fuck, that's some bullshit, man. Ice Cube walking around here talking about fuck the police, NWA, I'm a nigga with an attitude. Now he produces movies and created his own damn basketball league. The Big Three, whatever it's called. Like, stop playing with me. It's a new day. It's a new day. And your new day is success. Real spill. America the Great wants you to be successful. It wants you to be successful. Because when you were in your worst condition as a slave, and I'm telling you this shit from some Aquarian age shit, in your worst condition as a slave, if it was all like that, then never have to let you go. I got you with Zach. I got you in bondage. Why I gotta let you go? I ain't gotta let you go to make more money, you fucking slave. Shut up. Chain you up to a factory up north. You ain't getting free, nigga. Think you is getting free. I ain't gonna play no mind games with you. Shut up. And a war happened. Let's just keep it real. A war happened over that shit. But is it a coincidence? What happened? You know how God is so great with time and celestial energy? He sent Abraham, the father of nations, not the one in the Bible, Lincoln, an Aquarius, 212. Interesting. The Mayans told you about 2012. It's all the same math. So February the 12th, look for the one in 2012. The time ends. I'm not talking about the celestial year. The time ends. Humanity still goes, man. Clearly, it's not talking about that. A world and earth are not the same. A world is your world. I rock your world. This is my world and everything in it, right? The world and earth is not the same. That's a perception. A certain perception would end. So Abe Lincoln comes and what? Boom. The Aquarian comes and set niggas free. Goes against the status quo. Because if it was a plan, why agree to kill each other if it was a plan? You mean to tell me it was a plan to agree to kill each other, and then you're going to agree to be in the theater and somebody going to come with a Dillinger and shoot you and blow your fucking brains out? Get the fuck out of here. You ain't got to do all that just to trick you. Yeah, it don't make no sense. All right. But see, that's this. Brother, this is the Pisces full moon. How you get here? Because Pisces cut through the illusion. It's time to come into full knowledge and understanding and cut through the illusion of goddamn conspiracy, because Pisces is an illusion. An illusion could be a conspiracy. I'm purposely selling you a smoke screen because there's some other shit going on over here. So within the stream of consciousness, when we're trying to wake up, that shit sounds so deep and that shit sounds appealing and it seems true. You know why it seems true? Because this is the oxymoron in this thing. Freddie Gray, Mike Brown, police officers kill blacks and there's no justice, and then that reinforces the not too long ago past a civil rights era in the 60s, and then 100 years prior to that was the Civil War, which we can technically say was slavery. So when we see these injustices, this goes ahead and reinforces the slave shit and the civil rights shit, which with common sense will say it's all a plan. Nobody wants us to succeed. But that's not the truth. We have to get into the shift. The Aquarian shift is to set you free. Do you know that like there's people who will say, we ain't free. We still slaves. You hear this? Like you gotta like they really think that, oh, it's just a new game now. I ain't free because I gotta pay taxes. Well, shit, you ain't supplying the water to the house. You ain't getting my shit out my toilet and get it out the house. I don't want that shit. And I don't feel like carrying it either. Like, when we gonna be real about the situation? That's this full moon, is for us to come into clarity about reality within the Aquarius. All this shit is happening. Full moons and all these alignments is happening within the grand scheme of the Aquarian age. We're setting the tone and the template for the next 2,000 years. Everything you do, although could be within Scorpio, all these other frequencies, it all is all taking place within the Aquarian stage of reality. All right. And so we just cracked the veil tonight on that shit. Union Soldier style without me having to go there. I just got to put that in there. So some of that stuff I'm going to show in this webinar, though, because it has everything to do with us programming the matrix. Like, yo, whoa, hold up. We creating these external events that's popping is coming from your thoughts, man. I'm telling you, listen. One of the sickest things that we could do is complain about something and don't fix it, especially as a collective group of people. Because what will happen is, man, listen, your dirty water, shout out to Muddy Waters, your dirty water will turn into Flint, Michigan. Water is your emotion. Yes? In this science, we show that water is your emotion. So if water is your emotion, then is it possible that, and we all know this is true, so this ain't far-fetched, You ever thought about somebody and all of a sudden they called you and they popped up and you was just thinking about that thing? We've all had that experience before. So I know for a fact, what is Flint? Flint is a dope ass observation that really came by the way of Master Fard Muhammad, creator and founder of the Nation of Islam. When you go inside those supreme wisdom lessons, man, and you start seeing that Mr. Shah wants to know about the state of Michigan and how much Lake Michigan weighs and all that shit, and talking about this lion walking forth back and forth in this cage, and you got the Detroit Lions and this infatuation with Lake Michigan and this water. Lead corresponds to that's a we call that a metal that corresponds to the planet Saturn. Saturn wants you to build something. Detroit is bankrupt and went bankrupt, homie. You were supposed to build something. Here's a grand utopia. I was looking at an old screenshot that I had from years ago, about 5 years ago. We put together a website called Resolution 444. And I said, because everybody know everybody, right? I said, would it be so dope if we form a conscious joint chief of staff? I don't want you to abandon your ideology. Nobody wants you to do that. Do you work your ministry and do you? It work. You got supporters and followers who live that lifestyle. Brother Polite. You had Brother Ali Muhammad, Dr. Umar Johnson, Brother Sarah Suit Seti, looking at this shit like, yo, this shit is cracking. What? This shit is lit. Niggas on more science. Brother Cheyenne in courtroom showing you more science. This shit is dope. It don't necessarily got to be my cup of tea. Right? So let's form a conscious joint chief of staff, because that's what the United States do. Since we taught them so much, the Greeks studied from Africans. The Romans studied from Africans. The Moors initiated the white boy. We hear all this shit. Oh, he's Yaqub. He comes from us. We hear all this shit. But yet you seem like you're not supreme. So can we go to Michigan as bankrupt? And let's make a plan to, fuck it, let's buy back the block. Let's buy the city. Us. So we never really wanted to ruffle no feathers. Me and Minister Jew don't even call names and get at people. Certain doctrines we don't fuck with, because it's outdated, right? But we don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, to be honest with you. We ain't in it for that. Intellectual dialogue and debates turn into slander and hate because we got so much of that stuff within us, right? So we just don't. So you know what we do? We say, we build what we know we need to build ourselves. And we got the last angle, because the imagination, i.e. the imaginationguru.com, the imagination is Pisces. This full moon is coming up. It's the last stop on a totem pole when you understand how reality is created, because everything that is created comes from within man's and woman's imagination. Wilbur Wright had an idea of an airplane. Henry Ford had an idea of a car. Shit comes out your imagination. So we can create with our imagination. And that's what we do. We create with our imagination. All right. So here's a question. All right. That's right. Clarity on reality, man. Let's cut the bull crap. Ample. Can we put our consciousness forward, like in the Korean man's experiment with water? Oh yeah. So hell yeah. We're supposed to do that shit. You're supposed to, you can take a group, and I'm gonna tell you that this thing don't have to be a big group of people. It wasn't no more than 13 of us putting in work on certain places that's creating this ripple effect that all of a sudden the NAACP received the idea, oh shit, take that shit down. They need to come off the mountain. And it's the sincerity of the group resonance that can do it. So it ain't got to be this mass million man march that do it. It's the intention of those who are together, the energy that they have that can actually go and circle Jericho 7 times in that water system and whatnot, or pray and all chime in at the same time and send that conscious stream of thought to that water and work with purification. See, this is I'm gonna tell you what the thing is. Why national ministers don't do stuff like that is because deep down they're afraid that that shit won't work, and then it will look like God is not on their side. That's why. So I'm gonna call it for what it is. I don't call no names, but national, well-known ministers worldwide don't do things like that. Let's go pray over the water and say, ask for God to cleanse this water within 3 days. Give God a timeline within 3 days. But maybe we're pushing if we give God a timeline. Maybe we're not supposed to do that. But we can ask though. And we can ask. We don't have to tell them. We can ask, could you please do this within 3 days so these people can be healthy? Please, Lord. They're afraid that the response won't come and God won't be on their side at their time, and thus they fall apart. Deep down, a lot of people are atheists, and I'm not knocking at you atheists. I'm just saying, see, the Quran says it this way. They say they believe in Allah, but they do not. And surely they do not know. In other words, these people don't even know that they don't believe in God, but yet they profess that they really do. But in their heart, they don't even know this shit though. And I always get stuck right there in amazement, like, damn, for real? You got a people who profess to believe, may follow certain tenets and everything, but deep down, they don't believe and they're not even aware of it. Real talk. They talk about this in Surah number 2. It's 3 types of people: the believers, the disbelievers, and the hypocrites. All right. So anyway, this Pisces full moon, let's use it to cut through the illusion. Get focused on what is your imagination. If you know exactly what area of your life, the chart where this full moon is coming in, there go your point of reference if you choose to get down. All right. If you choose to get down. All right. I know when you look at a chart, man, you know it got this cardinal cross, right? The horizontal axis, AC, the rising, and the DC, and then the horizontal axis, the career in your house. So these are like 4 major points, and these points are more they're really more relative than the other points because they're called your angles, right? So this is your celestial cross that you want. So that's why I'm saying, like, these other ones that fall in betweens, they're not even technically on the angles like that. They're not. The angles is major areas of your life, basically, and whatnot. That's why I'm saying I don't really chase this moon thing. So you don't see me making posts every full moon and every new moon, because 2 weeks later, I'm supposed to be talking about the new moon. And then I'm going to be talking about the new moon in Libra. And then 2 weeks after that, there's going to be the full moon in Aries. And we just bouncing. We just all this fucking bouncing around, man. Listen. That's a lunar clock. I like solar time because at least the solar clock gives you 30 days of it gives you 30 days of focus where you can be consistent on one particular thing. You ain't gonna manifest shit bouncing around idea to idea if you're really following that thing. It's not made for that. It is a cosmic eraser and spatial programmer. Has nothing to do with bouncing around every single month like you a madman. You will be a lunatic. That's why they say lunatic. All right. Trust me. All right. You want to get now, you can create a 6-month goal. That's very important to understand, because on that wall clock, if you're at 3 o'clock, 6 months later, you're going to be on the opposite side at 9 o'clock. So where you're casting your thought at right now, 6 months later, you're going to be exactly where you're at. So you use the sun like this shit is basketball. Right now, if the sun is in Virgo, we're going to throw it at alley-oop, and that alley-oop is my intentions and my goals. Or you use the moon if you want to, right? The full moon in Pisces, right? 6 months later from now, when the new moon is in Pisces, right? Then you're going to be on the opposite side where you threw that alley-oop at. So this is why I'm saying that you gotta don't get fragmented, because then you get divided. You got to be as whole as possible, and you can create a 6-month goal for yourself as it pertains to this thing. And when you know, of course, within 6 months, you got to do something. It's called work. You got to walk it out. So in 6 months later, you're now in position to catch the alley-oop, because you're literally occupying the space in which you were observing 6 months ago. So remember this. If this is the earth where you're at right now, if you're concentrating on this point right here, whether this sun or is the moon, don't matter. 6 months, if it's the moon, 6 months later, the sun and moon is gonna be right here. Okay. And if it's the earth, then 6 months later, you're going to be right here. Okay. And so you have to learn how to throw these cosmic alley-oops. So 6 months goals become very important, because you're now on the opposite side of what you were just looking at. Okay. Important, because see, remember, everybody got half the circle, and the half the circle starts at who you are. This shit is geometry. When we trying to define what the circumference is and the radius is and all that, there's only one. The starting point is you. You're the dot in the middle of the circle, based off where you were born, your observation. You see your reality the way you see your reality, man. So I may be right next to you because you're a Capricorn or you a Pisces. You know what I mean? And then and opposite me is Leo. They way on the other side. So that side and that first 6, they represent that side. And you know, you be having these sides and whatnot. And I'm going to do this joint called Celestial Game Banging just for fun, but just to show you what's taking place based off of angular perceptions. Our perceptions is creating discord. How we see shit. You can only communicate how you see it. And then how you see it is not in harmony with how I see it. And this is discord based off our perception. Then you have to get into metacognition, super consciousness. When you say, I understand what you're saying 100%, but I'm not affected by what you think and what you feel. So we got to get to a point where we got to stop letting people affect us. Yep, be selfish. You got to be. That's the self-preservation. Is the first law of this whole thing is Aries. So you got to be selfish. Everything has to deal with yourself. All right. So y'all got any questions? I'll stop talking. I'll deal with questions now, man. All right. Yeah, you can do. I mean, long as you accomplishing and knocking out them goals, Marie, if you're knocking, changing that vision board every 6 months, man, you know, I'm a fan of not abandoning the ship and whatnot, but if it's working, repeat the process. We were just talking about that last. I was in that webinar with Grant, how to become a millionaire. He said oftentimes people find something that works and then they don't repeat it. They move on to something else where you need to be repeating the process. You need to be that damn Geico lizard that's just forever embedded in my damn head. Repeat the process. Repeat, repeat, repeat. That's Saturn, repetition, which happens to be the planet of success, which is a law within your mind. And this reality, if you repeat, you'll become successful. All right. So I know you're splitting some real needed truths because I'm getting attacked with buffering over and over again. And you need some high-speed internet, man. When I get on these, I try to plug up to the Ethernet. I don't even play the wireless game. I just go straight to the cord, man. Yusef the Third, peace to the guys. Peace, 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 Yusef. Brother Joseph, the dreamer. Sarah Jane, me too. All right. What else? What's up, fam? I'm about to get that workbook. Yeah, man. Get the workbook, man. The workbook they talking about is on My Astrology Coach shop tab and books, and you'll see this workbook called the Self-Activation Workbook. It's designed to help you understand yourself. So it asks questions about yourself, man. You know what I mean? So what can you tell me about myself? All right. So what I don't do here, Jamil, brother Jew's twin, I don't do the readings online. You already got to come with it. So if you can give me some data, like, hey man, I got the sun in Pisces because I'm a Pisces, but I was also born with the moon in Pisces. What is that for me? Like, come with some data already, because this is not where I punch up charts and look for people. But if you come with something that you already know, then I'll answer that. So meet me halfway. But I like 314 because it's pi 3.14. You know what I mean? But give me some data already by looking. And if you don't know where to go, you can start with astro.com, and it's free. And then it shows you these planetary glyphs. And then it's going to give you a key at the bottom left to say, oh, the circle with the circle is the sun. Oh, the one that looks like the number 4 is Jupiter. So when you looking at this and you like, oh, you know what? This is Jupiter. Look like I got Jupiter in the second house. Yo, no, but what's Jupiter in the second house mean? Then I can run it to you. See what I'm saying? Because you're giving me the data. All right. So does Saturn conjunct the planet automatically means it's afflicted? Ooh, that's a good question, right? It's a good question. So, you know, people give Saturn the bad rap. So I'm gonna let you be the judge of this, Marie. So they say Saturn is the great malefic. Me and Jew know that's not true. Mars ass is the great malefic, not Saturn. Mars will hurt you. I just showed in the Big Boy accident, his progressed Mars and Mars in the sky is in the exact same spot. This is called a Mars return. Mars brings accidents at times. So therefore, he was in an accident. So that's why I call that nigga the great malefic. However, Saturn is considered the great malefic, right? So I'm going to say, well, let's look at Saturn in Taurus. If Saturn is Mr. Bad, no, limitation, I know from the Puff Daddy era, the Jay-Z era, the Dame Dash era, especially Jay and Puff, Saturn in Taurus has proven to be a billionaire marker for them. And so I'm not going to, all energies, everyone, have a duality. All energies have a side of them that are what we will call happy, good, and all energies have another side which is, you know, bad and not so good. So Saturn can't, when it conjunct a planet, doesn't mean that it's malefic and bad, because Saturn represents success and repetition and materialization. So how is that bad? It's not. It's not. See, the planet is just a mirror of a psychological process anyway. That's what we always got to keep at the forefront of our mind. The planet is a mirror of a psychological process within ourselves. And so if I've been procrastinating, Saturn, I've been limiting myself, not handling my responsibilities, keyword for Saturn, then life feels hard when this energy is in alignment with other things. Saturn wants you to cut the fat and stop bullshitting. It ain't the planet that wants you to do that. The planet, again, is just a mirror of a psychological trait that we have. Either we're going to stop bullshitting, or we not. Period. It's this little guy on YouTube named Dan Pena. It's a little, like, he got a castle out in Scotland and shit, right? And you know, he's, you know, he does motivational shit and helping business and helping people man up and get success in their life. And he hard, man. That little motherfucker is hard. He like Hitler's brother. That motherfucker's like, listen, you don't have no money because you're a fucking cunt. That's why. Just do the shit. Stop asking these questions and do the shit. You know you want to be successful, then get out there and do the shit because you know you want to do it, you fucking cunt. That's how he talks, straight up. And I respect it because I get it. Just do that shit. So Saturn's energy demand that you cut the bullshit and you do that shit. So I'm going to say no. Because when it conjuncts a planet, it don't mean it's malefic. If you've been handling your business, it represents materialization. Remember, Saturn return, 28, 30 years old, is the great time of a testing point to see if you've been handling your business. Go study Jay-Z. Oprah, and Birdman. I studied those three as a Saturn return assignment for myself. They were inking pretty nice deals worth meals at those times in their life, where a lot of people who probably have been bull crapping will experience. I'm still living at home with mom. She put me out. I'm 30. Oh my God, I'm not in my 20s no more. Life ain't fair. Yeah, you're 30 years old and you ain't handling shit. That's why. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about the decisions that we make. All right. So what we got here? North Node, True Node, please. Dark Truth, man. I love this placement. I love nodes. I thought maybe I just need to do a show on nodes, right? So these are hypothetical points, man. They ain't even a point in the sky, but that shit is so real. The North Node's placement is the cherry on top of the whipped cream. When I consult with people, I usually end with that. I want you to really understand, because they say the North Node, where that's placed at, that is your soul's mission, right? So if that's your soul's mission, then what's more important than understanding what you need to complete to make you whole? So the nodes are always retrograding. The node is a hypothetical point. You got the Earth that goes around the sun. So the Earth has an orbital path. They're saying that the node is the would-be intersection that the moon cut through this path, it would be right here. And that would-be intersection is the node. Real story. It's not even a planetary body, but it's very real. Astrology is one of the most quantumist shit ever, for real. Because we respond to points in space, and then we start responding to hypotheticals and shit, which are very real. And so the node talks about what you must complete in order to be whole in this lifetime, in a sense. So it retrogrades, and it's in the sign for maybe about 1.8 years. So almost 2 years it stays in the sign, and then it goes into another sign. The sign before it goes backwards through the signs. So wherever the sign is, it's just telling you that's what you're supposed to work on. So really now when we're dealing with soul's growth as it deals with the nodes, technically there's like maybe close to a 2-year group of people who got the same type of soul's mission. To a degree, this is almost why like relationships are like kind of strenuous, because shit, it's only like a 1.8 year group of people who got the same kind of soul's calling within the same sign to correct that part of themselves. Let alone, that mean in about 6 years, a person with a 6-year age gap is going to have node square node and almost falling under the law of Saturn, because Saturn is about 2.5 years in this rotation. So every 7 years on average, Saturn is giving you a Saturn square Saturn. So the node is to a degree considered malefic, because it's something that you have to learn to grow into. So wherever it is, you have to learn that part. So I got the node in Libra. So I'm that, little small group of people that got to work on, oh shit, it's something about relationships and partnerships that I got to grow into. Let me get down with the program. That's how I am, right? And so, it's something about that shit that I got to grow, because the South Node is in Aries. And they say the South Node is your past, which you've done before. If my South Node is in Aries, and Aries is the conquest, and my South Node is in the 11th house, that's humanity and groups of people. That's the Aquarian house. See how I cheated? And I came back in as Aquarius because my South Node is in the 11th house, the area of space that deals with Aquarius. So I was all about me first. Aries is me first, but it wasn't me first. I probably was more or less of a fighter for the people. Aries is a fighter. 11th house is the people of humanity. So I was a fighter for humanity. I could have neglected developing a relationship, marriage, and love life and children at that time, because my North Node is in Libra, partnerships and marriages, and the 5th house, children. That's why all of the above, marriage and children, gets on my fucking nerve right now. And that's the truth. I had a conversation the other day. I'm like, listen, man, If they say your net worth is who you spend the a reflection of who you spend your time with the most, I'm around some people that are like, yeah, like my children, like I'm around y'all too much. Y'all listen, I don't gotta go. It's all good, you know what I mean? But the truth of the matter is, I ain't one of them gonna act like y'all don't get on my nerve. Y'all get on my nerve. For real. Y'all do, man. Straight up. You know, I don't love you. I'm just gonna tell you the truth. You know what I mean? But that's part of my node placement is balancing that energy out and whatnot. You know what I mean? So that happens, man. So Taurus related to manifestation materialism. Yeah. So Taurus is the first sign of money, material things, values, antiques could, you know, but it's definitely material things. All right. I was the same. I thought I was here for humanity, but now it's me, 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 me. Yeah. So do you, man? Do you? It's all the same anyway. Put yourself first and be happy. Be happy. Happiness is the key, man. Do you? All right. So any questions in this thing before I get off and figure out what I'm gonna do for dinner? I think I'm gonna do a show in the morning. I think I'm gonna introduce billionaire astrology tomorrow morning, man. I want to start looking at some billionaires, and I gotta come with. Y'all definitely gonna have to come with a notebook, man. So I'm giving y'all a heads up. Get a notebook, and we're gonna call it billionaire astrology. I'm gonna create a new playlist, and you're gonna write down. I'm gonna show you what the paper should look like, and you're just gonna fill it in as we look at some things. All right, so that may come tomorrow, possibly. All right. So yeah, my little kids are they irritating, man. Shit. What about Moon conjunct Chiron and Sinistry? All right. So with Chiron, right? Chiron was discovered in 77. So I got this little joke that I like to say, hey man, I brung Chiron to the world, man. I saw two definitions for Chiron. One is a wounded healer. It shows what wounds is. I personally don't give interpretations on Chiron. I'm still studying it. It takes Chiron about 50 years to make full circle. Chiron has not made a full circle yet since its discovery. However, that does not mean the current observations are not true. I've seen two definitions. The most popular one is it represents a wound, and this is how you heal. I have seen malefic things such as Mars on Chiron can represent abuse, pain, hurt, without a shadow of a doubt. I've also, the second definition is by the Magi Society. They noted it as an asteroid that deals with soulmates. I've also seen in Sinistry how this could produce very loving relationships when you have the right planets in combination with Chiron. So for me, the verdict is out on Chiron, but I just gave you the two definitions of them. And I just observe them as they, you know, as the case come in a sense, and just make an observation. But I'm be honest with you, I don't deal with asteroids too tough. I like Juno because it deals with marriage and stuff, but I don't like to, as I said before, I don't like to keep adding little different things, because when you do that, you keep going further and further out from the wheel, which is further and further out of yourself. And that's a very dangerous thing to do sometimes if you don't have a solid understanding and knowing that these things are just reflections of you. Then you would think that it's this external thing in space that is dictating your reality. And I just like to have the perception that it's an ancient axiom that says, hey, as above, so below, as above, you know, and as within, so without. And everything is a mirror. And it's not that cosmic energy doesn't have energy. It is, but I do understand that I must make a choice. That's a fact. I absolutely must make a choice. And my choice is going to be the deciding factor of the chain of events that is about to occur. Now, it doesn't mean that my choice is independent of the influence, because like I said, with Big Boy today and his accident, think about this. If I could have looked at Big Boy's chart before today, I would have easily told Big Boy, hey, bro, these next couple X amount of days, you want to be careful in your travels because this can happen to you. You're under a code red advisory. So in my Astro membership, that I have on myastrologycoach.com. If you click on membership, you'll see something called the Prosperity Network. So within that membership, there's a secondary report that I give to people. And within that report, I give them a code red. A code red is Mars on Mars, Mars square Mars, and some other things that I know could be potentially accidental and dangerous. So I easily would have put Big Boy under a code red, because I showed you in the video how I found it. So I know I would have did that. So it's not to say that, again, like his decisions that he made, he left the house when he left the house, but all of his decisions that he made had to take place in a sense, right? So here it is. He may think he has an organic idea. Oh shit, let me bust a left instead of going this way today. I'm gonna go this way, right? Where did that influence and that thought come from? Because he couldn't have did anything different without him having the experience, right? So it's this classic tug of war between, well, shit, do we really have free will, or is everything based off of fate? And I'm telling you, you have to understand the oxymoron that is both. So when you get into these cold reds, and you know this is more of a prime time, now is the time that you'll be doing banishing. Now is the time that you would cast, you know, certain energies over your, you know, your modes of travel. And, you know, now is the time for you just to be a little bit more aware. Awareness in of itself can dissolve the energy. And here's a case in point, because we are talking about Pisces, and we are talking about, I'm gonna get to that North Node in Aquarius. That's deep. Super consciousness. Pisces is a subconscious mind. And so I wanted to talk about hypnosis real fast in this past life thing, right? The point is, when you observe a potential negative thing, the mere observation by itself can delete the program. So in the work that has been classified and documented, not classified, I say classified meaning documented. You can have it. You can go ahead and eat that if you're gonna eat it. By Dr. Brian Weiss, who does past life regressions for groups of people and stuff. One of his bigger books with nothing but testimonials is called Miracles Do Happen, or Miracles Happen, one of the two. And it's people, and I know from knowing this skill and helping the client out doing this, I regressed the client back, and they saw that they were an American soldier in Germany, and they were smoking a cigarette real bad, profusely, like real bad. And this lady was getting raped by a superior officer, and the client I have, didn't do anything about it. And so at the death scene, she saw that she died in the hospital of cancer. In this lifetime, she has asthma real bad, where she can't be around barbecue smoke, can't be around incense, cigarette smoke, see construction smoke on the road, she'll bust a U-turn because her asthma was that bad. Well, two things happen, and I just stick to the healing story. So she noticed one time she was walking down the street and somebody was smoking in front of her, and she didn't catch it till a little later, but she was shocked that her asthma didn't go off. So she got some incense and lit the incense, and her asthma didn't go off, and she purposely started putting herself around smoke. She went to Arizona, and when it was in Arizona, they had one of those grill, one of those restaurants when they barbecuing on a trash barrel pit, you know what I mean? When you cut the, trash can in half and you start barbecuing. So she was around smoke, and she was just blown away that she never had an asthma attack. And it's because, as Dr. Brian Weiss has documented, when you're able to tap into the internal Akashic record is within yourself. It's not solely the place out in space. Space, I showed today, especially with Big Boy, space has memory. So that's the external, but then where's the internal? It's inside of you. All right. So when she was able to travel within herself and merely just see the cause of the asthma, it alleviated it in this lifetime. It automatically deleted. So it's kind of like going into a computer and realizing that you got an old file that you don't need, and you delete the file. Or if it's a program that has, you know, more space, you delete the program and you free up space. So now your computer should run a little bit more efficiently. This can instantaneous healing. And I don't think I said this year, because around this time, this is when school starts, I get into my teaching mode, right? Just going with the flow. And I said, this year, I'm gonna get back into that bag and teach people about the regression, and we can do it as a group and you can do it individually, and really got to learn how to get this understanding. Because when you can get this understanding, and again, this is perfect for the Pisces full moon conversation, because Pisces again is talking about transcendental consciousness. I want to be clear about that. Transcendental consciousness. Okay. So now we have the ability to transcend this linear concept of our reality, who we are as a being, tap into some other ones, and then it will automatically delete the record that is, or the program that is creating these issues for us. So my point is, again, in relation to Big Boy, is if I could have got to Big Boy and said, hey, this is why I'm telling you this, that observation was made. Since that observation was made, the program won't work no more. We deleted it. In fact, I did this for Michelle Obama on some spiritual shit. Real story. They I swear to God, I may show that. I'm gonna show that in Programming the Matrix. I'm gonna make y'all come through for that one. Real story. All I'm gonna say is this: was there a time where this white cop got reprimanded for saying what he would do to Michelle Obama? Is that on the record? It is. It was a white cop that said what he would do to her. Now you got to ask the question: why didn't his partner, who he told that, keep his mouth shut? Or why didn't the superior officer who found out say, you dumbass, you don't have conversations like that, I'm putting you on desk duty? Let alone the information, the conversation gets told to the news and the world sees it. This is a true story. A white cop said he would do something to Michelle Obama. That wasn't nice. The reason that I'll show you in the webinar, because it's got everything to do with Programming the Matrix. The observation alone can delete the program from running, is my point. Okay. All right, man. So North Node in Aquarius, I said I was going to come to that. So I'll take a few more, then I'm going to get out of here. North Node in Aquarius, man, you're here to learn about becoming a humanitarian. I mean, your South Node is in Leo, so you're probably stuck on the love, and you love attention and romance and things like that, or even possibly children. This lifetime is about you growing into becoming more humanitarian, growing into the collective group of friends, or a part of a group that's about social change for a better humanity. Aquarian is the Red Cross, man. It's that type of energy. It's Bob Marley is a beautiful representation of an Aquarius. Myself, Huey P. Newton, and Abe Lincoln, or King Simon, even here, you know, like those, that's the Aquarian energy and whatnot. All right. Oh man, sorry about that, man. You got ran over by Lyft. Wore out my own $1 billion check because I'm suing Lyft. The police and the guy. Oh, there you go. So see, sometimes that shit happens like that too. You got to get roughed up in order to get to the other side. So that's when you don't fall for the trick of negative. You got to turn this alchemy. You got to turn that to an event, because sometimes that shit happens and you got to fall down a flight of steps to get that paycheck. And it's not that you scamming, like you authentically fell down a flight of steps to get a paycheck, and now it happens, you know, or somebody run into the back of you and now insurance is going to come in. I know somebody who's manifesting a car, want to manifest a car. Their car was parked. Somebody came and ran into their car, tore their car up when it was parked, and they weren't even in the car. And then that's how the new car that she had on the vision board manifested itself. So sometimes chaos is the agency of change to get you what you want. So you got to see God within chaos, because that is God. All right. All right. And so, oh, well, you crystaled up, prayed up. How do me avoid this? So here's the thing, you know, you was prayed up and whatnot. Was it a fear that something was going to happen and it still occurred and it still was radiating within your prayer? This is why I tell people you got to be conscious of what you're feeling, because what you think and what you feel needs to be in the same accord, because what you feel is a reflection of what you really think. So you can think you want prosperity, but if you ain't doing the actions on that shit, you really don't want it, because you don't really feel it. Because if you really felt it, then you would do it. We're not feeling the shit. Most of us is not feeling the shit that we think about when it comes to this kind of information. If you think, yeah, I want $1 million. Yeah, I want to be a millionaire. Are you gonna put the work in? No. Why aren't you putting the work in? Why are you self-sabotaging? Cause what Dan Pena say, you a effing punk is what you are. And so you want to make sure that the energy that you praying and you radiating and being prayed up about is that's not your predominant feeling and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? It's not your predominant feeling. So make sure that's on the same accord. And if it's on the same accord, then sometimes, guess what, man? Sometimes things just have to happen on the opposite side of the spectrum to get you to understand why it happened. All of these things, these points of initiations, sometimes just some shit you just not going to avoid. But obviously there's times where we can say, hey, this is you want to don't do this at this time. This is one of them times where it's more likely to pop. And you can go in that situation and jump out of an airplane during a Mercury retrograde and was born with a fucked up Mercury, in our science called afflicted. And guess what? You survive and everything is all right and it's all good. And it was absolutely nothing. We done that before. Minister Jew done it. Jumped out of an airplane and shit, going skydiving and shit, which I think I'm gonna do this spring coming up. I think I'm going to go skydiving because I didn't go on that trip and I want to jump out of an airplane. Y'all jumping out with me? Real talk. Let's have an equinox trip in Florida, spring. Let's jump out of an airplane. Release your fears. I call that one release your fear. Whatever your fear is, you need to jump out of a fucking airplane. I remember Minister Jew said this shit when he came back. Nigga, I jumped out of an airplane and wasn't nothing wrong with it. Right? That shit is the funniest shit in the world to me, because it's true. Like, why else would a grown person jump out of an airplane? Like, wasn't nothing wrong with it. You shouldn't be jumping out of an airplane, right? But he had this level of confidence, and still has this level of confidence, that you jumped out of a freaking airplane. And I'm like, yo, let's jump out of a freaking airplane, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna open you up. Your body, you man, listen, you gonna secrete some adrenaline like you ain't never had before. It's gonna put your brain on a whole nother level. That's why you think white people is crazy, because they be doing shit like that. But at the same time, we be like, we look back and say, oh shit, well, they running the world in a sense. All right. But anyway, some things have to happen to get you to understand. See, that's why I say, when I started understanding this past life thing, it was like, oh shit, super consciousness. Like, oh man, shit, that shit had to happen because it was related to something. It ain't got nothing to do with you avoiding it right now. It has to manifest itself in this lifetime for you to extract a lesson. You see what I'm saying? So you got to get I call it the blessing in the lesson. You know what I mean? Can you extract that and get that and be good with that? You know what I mean? Because it's divine in everything, man. Everything. All right. So what if you have 2 birthdays? The state says one day, my biological father says a different day, yet it's the date given by the state I see daily. Man, listen, if your daddy is for sure, I think I may want to believe him. What do your mother say? Well, if mom's not here, I can understand that, but I think I'm going to go with perhaps maybe the parent. But there is a way that's called chart rectification that could be figured out, and which one makes more sense and more is likely the right one. That can be done. But I would, me personally, in my experience, if I believe my father and believe they're competent enough, I think I would go with that one versus the state. I've seen 2 different birth times, only 4 minutes off with me, and I know which one makes sense for me and which one hits me. All right. Yeah, that's what exactly what jumping out of an airplane is. You know what I'm saying? So, All right. So again, listen, man, it's getting close to that crunch time. Sunday is going to be a webinar at 2 p.m. Eastern. You have to enroll for it because it's private. This is not a live joint. You get to it, myastrologycoach.com. I've been showing you, but get to it, myastrologycoach.com. It is absolutely on the front page and just enroll. And also check out, y'all want a Zodiac shirt? Check out myzodiacshirts.com. All right. myzodiacshirts.com. Get you a Zodiac shirt, get your sign, get that, represent that. That helps us get to the goals, man. Help us do what we need to do within our ministry. So myzodiacshirts.com, over to the website. And I'll do something tomorrow. I like morning times is my thing. So I may do something anywhere between 9 and noon. So subscribe, hit the notifications. That way you can be alerted like you normally are, and we can have some great conversation on a Saturday morning. All right. So with that, I get with y'all. Peace.